Ratio Christi is one of the most strategic ministries in the country. Why? One reason is location, location, location. Because of its location in moving not just the country, but the entire world. A famous ancient Greek once said, "Give me a lever and a fulcrum, and I can move the world." But this wasn't some wizard speaking magic. It was Archimedes, the mathematician, describing the fundamental principle behind the fulcrum or the lever. We recognize this in the teeter-totter or the seesaw we played on as children. Seated in opposition to someone of greater weight with the fulcrum placed in the middle, and you seem stranded in the air. But move back just a little bit and down you go, able to lift far more weight than otherwise possible because of your location in relation to the fulcrum. What is the Archimedean point of the world today? The university. The primary institution where Ratio Christi works is a place from which to move the world. The university is perhaps the single most influential institution shaping civilization. It is the gatekeeper of thought, upstream, shaping culture downstream. From it come our doctors, lawyers, business and political leaders, journalists, pastors, K-12 educators, and even future professors. The challenge is for the church to realize this, that no greater service can it render, both to itself and to the cause of the gospel with which it is entrusted, than to try to recapture the universities for Christ on whom they were all originally founded. We're told that ideas have consequences. 9/11 wasn't about power, but ideas. World War II wasn't about power, but ideas. It is ideas that shape the world, both for good or for evil. They can be deployed constructively or destructively. Viktor Frankl, the Austrian Holocaust survivor, neurologist, and philosopher, poignantly stated that the gas chambers of Auschwitz, Treblinka, and Majdanek were ultimately prepared not in some ministry or other in Berlin, but rather at the desks and in the lecture halls of nihilistic philosophers and scientists. Hitler said, "Give me the textbooks and I will control Germany." Abraham Lincoln said that the philosophy in the classroom in one generation will be the philosophy of government in the next. The American population is roughly 330 million people, of which 1.6 million are professors, educating, inspiring, and mobilizing nearly 22 million current students. The future leaders of the world, while professors constitute 0.5% of the U.S. population, they wield an enormous weight in their research and teaching with input into nearly every aspect of society. Ratio Christi reaches students and professors. In 1980, Charles Malik, the UN Secretary General, gave a lecture admonishing Christians everywhere with the dual tasks of winning the soul and saving the mind. But he warned that if we win the world, yet lose the mind of the world, we'll soon discover that we really didn't win the world, but lost it instead. Malik said, quote, "All the preaching of the world and all the loving care of even the best parents between whom there were no problems whatever will amount to little, if not to nothing, so long as what the children are exposed to day in and day out for 15 to 20 years in the school and university virtually cancels out morally and spiritually what they hear and see and learn at home and in the church. Therefore, the problem of the school and university is the most critical problem afflicting Western civilization," unquote. But I would say this extends beyond mere Western civilization to the entire world. They say that what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but I contend that what happens in the university never stays only in the university. As goes the university, so goes the culture. And as goes the U.S. university, so goes the entire world. Failure to reach the university, the whole university, including professors and administrators, is the greatest omission of the Great Commission. It is just that influential. The strategic location of the university should be at the forefront of Christian mission. It is for Ratio Christi. By the way, Archimedes' statement about moving the earth is possible. You would just need a lever about a quadrillion light years away resting on the moon as the fulcrum, and you could move the earth.